I'm Seventh Sin with Church of England, and this is my Rift UI RAID setup video. Now, before I started editing the actual layout of my frames, I went into my Settings, Interface Options, and Display tab to checkmark the box for Global UI Scaling. This allows you to use the slider to either enlarge or reduce the size of all of your frames simultaneously. I brought the size down smaller than the default settings, that way I could fit more items onto my screen without making it too cluttered. Now once that's done, you can go back to your main escape menu, click Edit Layout, and start adjusting the actual frames themselves. You just click and drag a frame to where you want it to be. If you drag it up next to another frame, you'll see a green bar indicating that it is attaching itself to that frame, and an orange bar indicating where it's attached once you release your left mouse button. In the very center, you'll notice I have a notification window that's fairly large. I do this because as a melee DPS, my positioning is something I'm always watching during a fight. I have to make sure that I'm close enough to my target, that I'm getting off my melee abilities, not just my ranged abilities, and I need to be aware of fight mechanics, like whether or not I'm standing in an AoE or have an AoE debuff, that I need to avoid other people, so I'm constantly watching where my character is at. Having the notifications on top of my character makes it very easy to spot notifications without having to look from one side of the screen to another, or possibly miss them in all the confusion that may happen during a raid event. Directly below that, because I'm a melee DPS, I have my HP bar, my target, and my target's target. My targeting bar is a little bit bigger than my own HP, and much bigger than my target of target. The reason for this is, as a melee DPS, it's obviously priority to keep on interrupts and make sure that the DPS is steadily going down. Sometimes as an officer I have to call out when certain things are either being cast or bosses at a certain health percentage. On the left side of my notification window, I have my raid frames because I don't primarily have to focus on them. As a healer, you may want to substitute where I have my targeting information. You may want to put the raid frames there instead. That way you have very easy access to see who needs a heal and who needs a cleanse, and those sort of things will be much easier to react to. You'll notice I have all of these things directly above my ability bars at the very bottom. Generally, I don't have to sit there and watch cooldowns. Just an occasional glance will tell me whether an ability I want to use is up or not. And most of the time, I can look at the debuff on the target, which isn't as far to look at either. Now, once I'm done editing all these things and positioning all these little items, I will save my layout and show you an example notification by joining a Looking for Group queue, so you can see what the notifications look like now that they've been repositioned and enlarged. To enlarge a window, you can select it with your mouse and then just use your mouse wheel to scroll up or down to increase or decrease the size, or you can use the layout menu, which has a slider that you can slide up or down. Again, I want as much information to do my job as necessary in the center of my screen to make everything fairly seamless. That'll give me the ability to see multiple things at once and react to one or two things without having to look from one end of the screen to the other and possibly miss something if multiple things are happening simultaneously. And here I've saved my layout, so I'm going to target myself so you can see what my targeting area looks like. And then I will join a Looking for Group queue for a random, just so you can see the notification. And there it is. You can see this notification, and then I'll leave a queue and we'll get a different note. And that gives you an example of how easy it is to keep an eye on that and still see the notifications. Now you can adjust those as necessary, whatever your preference is, but hopefully this short video has given you an idea of some of the things that you can do to make those items that are important for what you're doing in the raid much easier to see, and that will help you coordinate more efficiently during the raid. Well, this is 7th Sin with Church of England. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next raid.